Canada just got an offer nobody expected. 88 Swedish Gripen fighters. A deal so big, so unusual, that it stunned NATO, surprised Washington, and left defense analysts scrambling for answers. Why would Sweden, a country known for quiet diplomacy and non-controversial defense decisions, suddenly make such an aggressive move? Well, today we uncover the shocking truth behind Sweden's 88 Gripen proposal to Canada. And trust me, you've never heard this explanation before. Sweden's unexpected proposal to supply Canada with a customized fleet of Gripen E fighters, along with local assembly rights, tech transfer, and full operational independence, sent shockwaves through NATO. What made this offer so explosive wasn't just the jets themselves, it was the strategic implications. Unlike the F-35 program, where the US maintains tight control over software, maintenance, and mission data, Sweden's offer gave Canada something NATO rarely sees: true sovereignty over its air force. Canada would gain the ability to modify, upgrade, maintain, and even produce parts for the aircraft within its own borders. Even more shocking, Sweden offered to set up Canadian-based production lines, making the Gripen effectively a made-in-Canada fighter. The offer also reshaped geopolitical conversations. Analysts warned that the shift could create a new pole of influence inside NATO, centered around Sweden's independent defense model. For Canada, it meant lower operating costs, Arctic dominance, and full control. For NATO, it meant a potential unraveling of procurement norms long taken for granted. In this segment, we uncovered the hidden layer behind Sweden's shocking Gripen offer to Canada. A move that wasn't just about aircraft, but about sending a message straight to Washington. Sweden's proposal, packed with deep industrial cooperation, tech transfer, and unprecedented assembly rights, wasn't only aimed at winning a contract. It was designed to challenge the long-standing US dominance over Western fighter jets. By empowering Canada to build and maintain its own Gripens, Sweden essentially gave Ottawa something Washington has never offered: genuine independence from the F-35 supply chain. Behind closed doors, US officials are reportedly worried about a new trend: smaller nations exploring alternatives that don't rely on American oversight. Sweden's move, therefore, becomes more than a business deal. It becomes a geopolitical shockwave. Sweden's latest move has sent shockwaves through NATO, Canada, and even Washington. What looked like a simple fighter jet offer is now being revealed as something far bigger: a long-term strategic plan that Sweden has quietly been building for years. At the center of this plan is the Gripen, but the jet itself is only the beginning. Sweden's real goal is influence, strengthening its defense industry, expanding its geopolitical footprint, and reshaping the power balance inside NATO. By offering unprecedented technology transfers, local production rights, and near-complete operational independence, Sweden is positioning itself as the alternative to US defense dominance. The secret plan isn't about competing with the F-35. It's about giving nations a way out of dependence on Washington. And Canada, with its massive procurement program and rising frustration over US restrictions, has become the perfect first domino. NORAD is facing a crisis it never expected. And it's happening in the one region where the United States and Canada can least afford to fail: the Arctic. For decades, the Arctic was a frozen buffer zone. Now it's becoming the world's newest front line, and NORAD's aging defenses are being pushed to the breaking point. The nightmare begins with new threats that move faster, lower, and colder than NORAD's legacy radar networks can reliably detect. Russian hypersonic missiles that can approach over the pole. stealth aircraft and long-range bombers exploiting gaps in Arctic surveillance, submarines and drones slipping through melting ice passages. At the same time, climate change is opening up new navigable waters, allowing adversaries to move forces closer than ever before. Yet both the US and Canada are struggling to deploy modern fighters, build new radar sites, and upgrade early warning systems fast enough. The result? A widening vulnerability that analysts say could give enemies a first strike advantage in the high north, a terrifying scenario that NORAD was never structured to handle. For months, governments, analysts, and military insiders have been asking the same thing. What is really driving Canada's fighter jet decisions? The Gripen offer from Sweden has ignited a debate that goes far beyond aircraft. And now, the truth is finally coming into focus. The billion-dollar question isn't just about cost. It's about control, sovereignty, and long-term strategic freedom. Canada must decide whether to continue relying on US-made systems like the F-35, which come with restrictions, lock-ins, and long-term dependency, or to break away and choose an option that offers full independence, local industry benefits, and complete operational authority. Billions of dollars are at stake, but so is Canada's future strategic identity. This is the moment when Canada must choose between being a buyer in someone else's system or a partner in building its own. Behind closed doors in Washington, one scenario keeps resurfacing, and it has nothing to do with missiles, bombers, or stealth technology. What the Pentagon fears most is losing control of its closest allies' defense choices. The Sweden-Canada Gripen proposal has become the perfect example of this nightmare. It threatens to break the long-standing US dominance over Western fighter procurement, a dominance that ensures interoperability, influence, and long-term reliance on American systems. That's the Pentagon's deepest fear. A world where mid-sized democracies stop buying American jets, stop depending on American maintenance pipelines, and stop needing Washington's approval for upgrades and missions. Because once that happens, the US loses more than sales. It loses leverage, influence, and strategic control.